Hi, today we are diving into a topic that is super important for building fantastic web pages, and the topic of today's video is HTML file paths. Let's start with the basics. What are HTML file paths? A file path is an essential element that points to the exact location of a file within a website's folder structure. It serves as a navigational guide, allowing users and developers to easily locate and access specific files with precision. By understanding and utilizing file paths effectively, you can efficiently manage your website's content organization and ensure seamless functionality for visitors. File paths play a crucial role in seamlessly linking to external files such as web pages, images, style sheets, and JavaScript. Now there are two types of paths, absolute and relative path. Now imagine a vast map with various routes to a treasure chest. Just like a dinosaur seeking a golden egg, there are multiple ways to reach the treasure. To guide the dinosaur, we provide step-by-step instructions. It's like telling it to proceed straight at the volcano, then take a right turn. Upon encountering a snake, instruct it to turn right once more. When the towering coconut tree comes into the view, have it make a left turn. By following these directions, the dinosaur will find itself at the entrance of the cave where the treasure awaits. Now on computers, it works quite similarly. But we have to remember that on the computers there is files and folders. So files can live within a folders and you can navigate through several folders deep in order to get a particular file. So let's think about what the file paths might be for a computer that has a structure that look like this. So the first thing to note is that at very root of all the files, the folder is basically the origin, right? This is the root folder. Now when you are on Windows computer, the root folder is usually your C drive. So that becomes your root folder, and inside our root folder we have C drive and we have a folder called work. Inside of that folder I have got our index.js file as well as a project folder, and then inside that project folder there is a HTML file called index.html. Now if we think about the file paths for each of these things, this is what they might look like. The route is obviously just a /. The work folder will be /work. The report will be /work/index.js. Project will be /work/project, and finally the index.html will be /work/project/index.html. So this path is kind of like the direction that we were talking about previously. It's a way for the computer to navigate to the file of interest, which is in this case might be the index.html, and we have to give it directions for which folder to go into and then which folder, and then you will find the file with the name. Now this is known as absolute file path. Absolute file paths always start off relative to the root, so you always see a / to begin with, and sometimes you will see C:, or on Mac you will see just the /. The absolute file path is basically a path that starts from the origin, the root of the computer storage system. Now there is also something called a relative file path. Taking this index.html, we know that the absolute file path is /work/project/index.html. But what if we were actually inside this project folder? So let's say that at the time when we are trying to get to this index.html, we are actually right here. Now this in computer speak is called the working directory. It's basically the directory or folder that we are currently working from. And once we have established working directory so that we are right here, then we can use that called a relative file path to get a file that we are interested in. So given that we are here and we are trying to get here, the relative file path is simply just dot then slash, then index.html. The dot slash signifies look in the current folder for this file. If we switch up our working directory and let's say we are now working from the work folder, how do we get to this index.html? Well, the absolute file path will not change for this file, but the relative file path will now be ./project/index.html. So we are walking from here to here, then to here. Now what if we want to go upward in the directory tree? Let's say we wanted to get a hold of the index.js, but we all currently working inside this project folder. How do we go one step up? Well, we will write ... so two dots now, then slash index.js. So we are inside this project folder and we are coming out of it to the parent folder, which is the work folder, and then we are getting hold of this file so that two dots represent going one step up in the hierarchy to the parent folder, which this case is the work folder. Now what we have been doing is we have been writing code inside our index.html, and that index.html has usually been inside some sort of project folder. When we are trying to get hold of a file, this is basically where we are at. So our working directory is the work folder. So that means if we wanted to get access to this index.js file from our index.html, all we need to do is write ./index.js, because we are working within the same directory and we are just getting hold of this file. Now when you are using relative file path, you can use ... but you can also shorten it and get rid of it as well. Now a relative file path is a handy way to specify the location of a file based on its relationship to the current page. By using this approach, you can easily reference files without having to provide the complete directory structure, making it more convenient and efficient for web development tasks. Using relative file path is highly recommended for better website management. By utilizing relative file paths, you can ensure that your web pages are not tied to a specific base URL. This means that all links will function correctly regardless of whether you are working on your local machine, your current public domain, or any future public domains you may have. The flexibility allows for seamless navigation and a smooth user experience across different environments. In order to understand this concept practically, you can see this is my project folder, and in this project folder I have one file and one folder. The main file in this folder is index.html file, and then we have a folder called images, and we are working in our index.html file, and we need like images or CSS file or JavaScript file. We can access those files just using our relative file paths, in which we have this index.html file and this image folder. And in this example, we want to access this image from this folder. So here you can see we are using relative file path because we are not using here the full path of that image. If you want to see the full path, which is absolute path, you can just right click on this image, and then here you can see two options. One is copy relative path and the other one is copy path. And this option, which is just copy path, this is our absolute path, and I can show you by just clicking this, and then here I am pasting this path, so you can see how an absolute path looks like. This is our absolute path. As you can see, this is starting from our C drive, and as you know, in absolute paths the root is our C drive, and then from here we have user folder. In that we have this folder, then we have OneDrive, then we have desktop, and then we have this folder for HTML course, then we have web1, and then images, and then we have this image. And now if we take a look on our relative path, which we can copy from here by just right clicking on this image, and then here we have our relative path. Just click on this, and then I am pasting this relative path here, and you can see that our relative path is much shorter than this absolute path. So we mostly use during development this relative path instead of using this absolute path. And now I hope you understand the difference between absolute and relative path. Now what if we place this index.html file into another folder? Because if we place this into another folder, then how can we access this image file from this folder? Let me show you how we can achieve this. So first I am going to create a folder and I am going to name this folder just HTML, just to show you how you can get a file. Now I am just moving that file into our HTML, and now our structure is like this. Our index.html file is in this HTML folder, and our images that we want to use in our web page is in this images folder. Now first of all, we have to came out from this folder. So in order to do this, we need to use dot dot. Whenever you want to come out from a folder, you have to use this dot dot, then slash. Then here VS Code is suggesting that in which folder we want to go, and from here we want to go into images folder, and then we have two images in that folder. You can see these two images right here, and we want to use this one. So I am going to click this image1.jpg file. So this is the syntax through which you can access the file, and there you have it. Think of them as your web page's GPS, leading it to all the right places. So go ahead and give your pages the perfect directions and watch them come to life. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join this exciting coding journey with us. Until next time, keep coding, keep creating, and I will see you in the next video.